Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, April 21st. In our devotion for today, we're going to continue with our theme of treasures of the transformed life. We've been talking about living water and how God created us, our physical bodies, to need regular water in order to survive. God also created our souls to need living water in order to flourish and survive. In order to get this living water that we were designed, that we desperately need, that our souls crave and long for, we need to have a connection with God. We need to be in relationship with God because we can only receive this living water from God. To really understand the concept of living water, it must be understood that the one who made you, God Himself, is absolutely committed to you. Jesus reminds us in John 15:5 that He is the vine and we are the branches. As such, we will wither up and die without the life force, the living water flowing directly from Jesus to us. God created you to need that water and to need God. You just have to go to the well and drink. There's nothing that God can't accomplish through a person who is connected to God. But understand this, it takes faith to get there, and it might not be faith in the way that you currently understand it. Author, philosopher, and theologian Elton Trueblood says that, quote, faith is closer to courage than it is to intellectual assent, end quote. You just have to put your eyes on Jesus and trust that Jesus will get you where you need to go. We tend to think that faith is something you only believe with your mind. Trueblood points out that faith is also acting with your body. Some people believe something without ever actually doing anything about it. It takes courage to act on your beliefs. Consider Peter in the boat with the other disciples. As the story goes in Matthew chapter 14, verses 22 to 36. Peter looked up to see Jesus coming across the lake to meet them. Jesus simply walked on the water to get where they were. The disciples couldn't believe their eyes. Peter did a bold thing. He decided to put Jesus to the test. Seeing Jesus approach, he said, "Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you by walking on the water." And Jesus replied, "Come." When we try to put Jesus to the test, He often has a way of turning it around so that we're the ones being tested. He gave Peter an invitation to take a risk, but the responsibility fell to Peter to make it happen. Keep in mind that Peter was familiar with boats and was a fisherman. He'd crossed that lake thousands of times, always in a boat. He'd seen thousands of people on that lake, and each time they were safe in a boat. There was safety in the wood on the bottom of that boat, safety in what Peter had already experienced during his lifetime. This was a new challenge, an opportunity to see that if water could really be as secure as the boat he'd been in all that time, Peter decided to go for it. Imagine the looks on the faces of the other disciples as Peter stepped out onto the water. He didn't just stick one foot out and keep the other foot in the boat. Faith is never putting one foot out and checking it. Faith is a decision, a cutting off from where I am stepping with risk into the place Jesus is inviting me. Think about that. Faith is a decision. It's a taking a step, a risk into the place where Jesus is inviting me. Those are profound words. I love that. I love that how our faith is demonstrated. Our faith grows. Our faith only goes hand in hand, not with our belief system, but with our trust system. And the more we trust Jesus, the more powerful our faith is because Jesus is that trustworthy. The only way to walk on water is to put both feet out there and trust Jesus. Faith involves letting go of every form of security, trusting God completely and without reservation. As long as Peter kept his eyes on Jesus and continued walking toward Him, he was able to do amazing things and experience success. As soon as he started looking away, his success was jeopardized and he began to sink. Remember what he did next? He cried out, "Save me, Lord." He probably wasn't slowly sinking in the water and saying that in a quiet voice. He was most likely kicking and screaming, splashing to avoid drowning. Have you ever been there and needed to cry out for help? Take comfort in the response of Jesus in verse 31. Instantly, Jesus reached out His hand and grabbed him. Jesus didn't say, "Well, I told you not to do that." He didn't say, "I'm busy right now, Peter. Hang on, but I'll get to you when I can." Jesus responded Instantly, Jesus was right there, knowing what Peter would need before Peter even knew he needed it. Jesus will do the same for you and for me. Amen. It is Wednesday. This evening, we do have a prayer meeting at 7 o'clock live on Facebook. Send me your prayer request. Come join us. Put your prayer requests in the comment section. I enjoy and I love praying for you. In the meantime, think about some of these ideas about faith and how faith is not my set of beliefs, but faith is my ability to trust Jesus. And our faith grows and is strengthened only as we act on it. When we go into the place, not where we want to go, but where Jesus is inviting us. That includes in our relationships, in our vocations, in our lifestyle choices, everything. As we live the way that Jesus is inviting us, we are demonstrating our faith and we're strengthening and growing in our faith. But our faith is our ability to trust in Jesus, not just how well we believe in some set of facts or theology or anything like that. Amen. Amen. Take care of yourselves. Look in on those people who are most vulnerable. We'll see you again on Friday.